which means that any organism with sufficient mass and cognitive capability is a potential vector. Is something wrong?
No, nothing.
Splendid, shall we? Unfortunately, my usefulness to this particular endeavor has come to an end. Protocol does not allow units with my classification to perform a task as important as the reunification of the index with the core. That final step is reserved for you, Reclaimer. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, really?
Cortana.
I've spent the last 12 hours cooped up in here watching you toady about, helping that thing get set to slit our throats.
Hold on now. He's a friend.
Oh, I didn't realize. He's your pal, is he? Your chum? Do you have any idea what that bastard almost made you do?
Yes. Activate Halo's defenses and destroy the Flood, which is why we brought the index to the control center.
You mean this?
A construct in the core? That is absolutely unacceptable.
Sod off!
What impertinence! I shall purge you at once!
You sure that's a good idea?
How dare you? Oh!
Do what? I have the index. You can just float and sputter.
Enough! The Flood is spreading. If we activate Halo's defenses, we can wipe them out.
You have no idea how this ring works, do you? Why the Forerunners built it? Halo doesn't kill Flood. It kills their food. Humans, Covenant, whatever. We're all equally edible. The only way to stop the Flood is to starve them to death. And that's exactly what Halo is designed to do. Wipe the galaxy clean of all sentient life. You don't believe me? Ask him.
Is it true?
More or less. Technically, this installation's pulse has a maximum effective radius of 25,000 light years. But once the others follow suit, this galaxy will be quite devoid of life. Or at least any life with sufficient biomass to sustain the Flood. But you already knew that. I mean, how couldn't you?
Left out that little detail, did he?
We have followed outbreak containment procedure to the letter. You were with me each step of the way as we managed this crisis.
Chief, I'm picking up movement.
Why would you hesitate to do what you've already done?
We need to go right now.
Last time you asked me, if it were my choice, would I do it? Having had considerable time to ponder this, my answer has not changed. There is no choice. We must activate the ring.
Get us out of here.
If you are unwilling to help, I will simply find another. Still, I must have the index. Give your construct to me, or I will be forced to take her from you.
That's not going to happen.
So be it. Save his head. Dispose of the rest.
Look out!
Alright, you wild, savage animals. Welcome back to Let's Play Halo 1 Anniversary. So let's take care of the Sentinels here. And then the terminal for this mission is really, really close by, actually. Oh, come on, I can't hit this guy. There we go. Got him.
We can't let the Monitor activate Halo. We have to stop him. We have to destroy Halo. According to my analysis of the available data, I believe the best course of action is somewhat risky. An explosion of sufficient size will help destabilize the ring, and will cut through a number of primary systems. We need to trigger a detonation on a large scale, however. A starship's fusion reactors going critical would do the job. I'm going to search what's left of the Covenant BattleNet and see if I can locate the Pillar of Autumn's crash site. If the ship's fusion reactors are still relatively intact, we can use them to destroy Halo.
Alright, well the terminal is right here.
25,000 light years. That is the effective range of this installation. According to the star charts archived on board this installation, I estimate that there are 3,792 worlds capable of sustaining biological sentient life within that 25,000 light year range. In reality, it may be significantly more than that. And if the full array was tuned and activated by Installation 00, the harmonics of the overlapping waves would magnify that effect exponentially, cascading to cover every known star system. And that only considers the firing of a mere 7 halos. And the original 12 rings survived to see use. Sterilization would spread far further than most Forerunners ever feared we could reach. But even with just 7 rings, we were able to destroy every side of the flood, and every other sentient creature along with it. This victory was the will of our people, despite the fact that it meant our own end as well. But by our empiric measurement, it was a victory, and cleared the stage for the rest of the librarian's plan. I sometimes wonder whether the Didact could have succeeded at a much smaller cost. I know the folly of opposing him personally, and his brilliance was unsurpassed, except perhaps by her own. He never got the chance to fully execute his proposal. The Council saw to that. But if something were to go wrong with one of the halos, if our tools were ever turned against us. Long plans, indeed.
Okay, well, that was 2 Betrayals terminal here. And we have now learned the true purpose of Halo. It is a galaxy-spanning weapon to kill all sentient life and deprive the Flood of its food source, because that's apparently the only way to defeat them. 343 in that video considered the firing of the original 12 Halo installations to have an even larger effect than the current 7, and this installation, as he said, would have an effect of 25,000 light years, and it would magnify along with the others when it basically comes into range. This terminal tied directly into the entire purpose of Halo as a weapon to use against the Flood, and the history of why they were actually built in the first place. I've already discussed the origins of the Flood and the secondary purposes of the Halo rings themselves, as well as the Librarian's plan in the previous mission. Again, I'll withhold discussing the overall history of the Librarian and her husband, the Didact, until we get to Halo 4. That said, let's talk about the Halo array and why it was built. When the Forerunners defeated the ancestor humans after the Flood brought them into conflict with each other, the Flood seemed to retreat following that conflict. However, the potential for a resurgence of the Flood caused the Forerunners to search for a solution. 2 were proposed. The Didact, again he was a high-ranking Forerunner warrior, proposed the creation of shield worlds, while the Master Builder, on the other hand, proposed the creation of the Halo array. In the end, the Forerunner Ecumen Council ordered both to be built, essentially. The Didact, feeling that the Halo array was an affront to the mantle of responsibility, was heavily critical of the concept of the Halos and was ultimately exiled for his trouble.
I haven't located the crash site yet, but we need to buy some time in case the Monitor or his Sentinels find a way to activate Halo's final weapon without the Index. The machinery in these canyons are Halo's primary firing mechanisms. They consist of 3 phase pulse generators that amplify Halo's signal and allow it to fire deep into space. The power levels are enormous. I can't even begin to calculate the pulse's range. So, if we damage or destroy these generators, the Monitor will need to repair them before Halo can be used. That should buy us some time. I'm marking the location of the nearest pulse generator with a nav point. We need to move in and neutralize the device.
Alright, well I'll discuss a little bit more about the Halo firing in just a minute here. The original Halo array was actually a series of 12 installations forged by the massive Arc installation. The use of the array and the defense against the Flood was controlled by a Forerunner Ancilla, that is, an AI construct. going by the name of Mendicant Bias. Unfortunately, Mendicant Bias was persuaded by the Primordial to become a turncoat, and he used the Halo array against the Forerunners. After a series of very long battles, in the end, only 2 of the Halo rings remained, and construction began on a new array known as the Neoteric Array. By this time, the Forerunners were badly losing their war with the Flood, with some 2/3 of the galaxy being consumed by the Flood itself. Thus, in 97,445 BCE, the Isodidact, a person originally named Bornsteller who had the original Didact's consciousness imprinted on him, ordered the firing of the Halo Array, which wiped out all life in the galaxy in an event known as the Great Purification. Following that, the galaxy was reseeded with life, according to the librarian's plans. Now, as we've known, in order to activate the Halo, we need the index retrieved from the library, that is the security facility. When activated, the phase pulse generators on the Halo ring world gather energy which collects at the center of the ring's diameter. There is then a subsequent massive release of harmonic frequency pulse, that is a blast, of cross-phased supermassive neutrino radiation in all directions that will eradicate any sentient life within the 25,000 light-year spherical blast radius. When activated from the ARC, that is Installation 00, all installations will cumulatively trigger one after another as the radiation fields intersect, amplifying the effects of each individual Halo.
Wait, we should commandeer one of those Banshees. We'll need it to reach the pulse generator in time.
That being said, individual ring worlds can be activated by themselves. This is known as a tactical pulse. The radiation itself does not actually destroy biomass, it merely kills the nervous system of a being, making it a non-viable host of the Flood. So in other words, if you were to be hit with this neutrino blast, you would simply fall down dead. But what we saw in the terminal video was the result of the Forerunners previously spraying target biospheres with a solute that would cause any animal killed by the array to be instantly decayed into its component molecules, resulting in a flash desiccation. Now this was done because if left untreated, all the life forms killed by the pulse will simply decay in great masses, which would in turn lead to an ecological disaster as all this dead matter just rotted away. Alright, well, I'm gonna head over here for a second because I want to see, I used to do this when I first played Halo. I just shoot up the ice right here. Yeah, and I would see how much I can get it to crack before the pattern just started repeating itself, the texture. Well, whatever. I don't believe there's anything down there, so let's just jump. Yeah, there's nothing down there. Let's jump in our Banshee and head up to the generator.
Good. Let's get moving. The nav point marks our target.
So this vehicle we're flying is the Covenant Type 26 ground support aircraft, also known as the Banshee. For whatever reason, the anniversary edition of this game changes the Banshee model to a Type 26B is Belloc's pattern Banshee, whereas the original Combat Evolved used the Type 26A Ogul pattern variant.
That's the pulse generator. The center core is the signal amplifier. That's what we need to shut down. We need to interrupt the pulse generator's energy stream. I've adjusted your shield system so that it will deliver an EMP burst to disrupt the generator, but you'll need to walk into the beam to trigger it. The EMP blast should neutralize the generator, but it will also drain your shields and leave you vulnerable until they recharge.
Alright, well, let's jump right in, huh? No problem.
Objective accomplished. The pulse generator has overloaded. The generator's central core is offline. Well done. The second pulse generator is located in the adjacent canyon. Move out and I'll mark the target with a nav point when we get closer.
Now, the Banshee is the Covenant's primary ground attack aircraft, previously used by the Sangheili, but it was integrated into the Covenant's forces. Most commonly, it's used for security patrols, aerial reconnaissance, and in long occupation campaigns. The Banshee commonly mounts 2 medium plasma cannons and 1 fuel rod cannon, both mounted in the forward firing position.
Head through that door. That's the way to the next canyon.
The Ogle variant has its wing canards terminate in an anti-gravity propulsion pod at the ends. Like most versions of the aircraft, a single pilot lies down prone in the cockpit while a protective cowling closes down over them. However, it still leaves their lower legs and feet exposed to fire. Banshees themselves are manufactured by Lodum Armory. The Izbelox pattern is 23.2 feet long, 11.7 feet high, 24.7 feet wide, and has a weight of 1.4 tons. They can generally achieve a speed of 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour. Additionally, they do possess the ability to hover. Sort of, anyway. In the game's lore, they can actually hover, but in-game, they can kind of hover, but they slowly do kind of descend towards the ground. Oh, we're making good use of our plasma rifle here. Look who showed up to the party. We have ourselves some Flood. Grab our shotgun here and start blasting our way through them. Yes, shotgun works just as well on shielded elites at close range as it does on the Flood. Alright, fire a rocket there. This rocket launcher is Misria Armory's M41 surface-to-surface rocket medium anti-vehicle / assault weapon. Commonly known as the Spanker from the letters printed on the side of it. The most common rocket launcher in the UNSC's armory, the M41 itself is a portable shoulder-fired launcher that fires the twin-tube M19 102mm surface-to-surface unguided rocket in a semi-automatic firing mode. When one of the rockets is fired, the entire tube assembly will rotate around so that the remaining one is in position to be fired. When both rockets have been expended, the wielder can then discard the M19 tube assembly and replace them with another set. The M41 Bravo variant of the launcher that we have differs from others in that it has a skeletonized trigger assembly as well as a 2-power magnification scope on it, allowing for more precise and longer ranged engagements. He somehow survived that blast, but he did not survive my shotgun. Well, we have them, might as well use them, right? And here come the Flood. That one jumped right to its death. Not that it really matters, they're essentially already dead. And as I'm sure you can tell, plasma weapons are not nearly as effective on the Flood as the human weapons are, because the Flood don't feel pain. It doesn't feel pity or fear or remorse, and it absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead. Yeah, since they don't feel pain, they don't feel the burns of the plasma, so that's why the human weapons are so much more effective against the Flood. They cause a lot of physical, kinetic damage to the target. You guys can handle those, can't you? Whoa! Almost got shot in the face parts with a rocket. I did not appreciate that. How very rude. These Flood are so inconsiderate. Anyway, let me talk about the last Flood form here. This is the Flood carrier form. The big bulbous Flood, that is. These are essentially combat forms or infected creatures that are too damaged or have outlived their usefulness, but at the same time they still possess some mobility. Essentially, Flood carrier forms are mobile incubators for new infection forms. Their bloated bodies are filled with noxious gases and smaller infection forms. They can throw themselves at enemies to explode and release new infection forms, and the detonation of them causes a significant amount of damage to you as well. That said, as with all Flood forms we see at this stage, they are infected hosts of some sort, perhaps with the exception of the small infection forms, because the Flood has not yet begun to develop its own pure Flood forms yet. So when the carrier forms explode, they release infection forms, and yeah, they come charging at you. How lovely, right? I need ammo. The heck is shooting at me? Well, here more come, of course. Now, indeed, along with the assault on the control room missions, is probably one of the longer missions of the game. Even playing on easy difficulty, it took me about 45 minutes to get through this level. And one of the main criticisms of it is that really all you're doing is just backtracking through the area that you went through during the mission Assault on Control Room. Except now it's infested with Flood and all kinds of other goodies and Covenant, and it's a lot darker because it's nighttime. Yeah, see, the game developers are very clever there, huh? Just change the time of day, change the enemies, and it's like a whole new ball game. There, have some of my boomstick. Oh, there's one right there.
Okay, let's take care of the next pulse generator.
Yes, we will once we take care of all these Covenant. I can't believe I almost made it through the entire game without talking about this vehicle. This is the Karo Etba Pattern Scout Bike, manufactured by Ir Armory, also known as the Ghost. It's the Covenant's reconnaissance ground vehicle. Operated by a single pilot, it has twin 4-mounted plasma cannons. The vehicle is 13.8 feet long, 6 feet high, 12.6 feet wide, and has a weight of 1,232.3 pounds. Its boosted gravity drive allows the vehicle to levitate over the ground and move with impressive speed and maneuverability, with a top speed of around 82 miles per hour. This maneuverability allows it to transition rapidly from forward to horizontal movement, allowing it to dart around the battlefield and even pivot in place, carrying out flanking and hit-and-run attacks on targets. Of course, the main downsides of Ghosts is that they are lightly armored and the driver is largely exposed, particularly from the sides and rear of the vehicle. A skilled shot can actually just snipe the driver right out of the vehicle. So there's that. Yep, I believe we got all the Covenant vehicles, at least in this game. Use my rocket launcher. There we go, anti-vehicle, just what we brought. That's why we brought it. Later versions of the Ghost, particularly in Halo 2, have a boost feature, but this one does not. Let's jump out here, grab some ammo. I don't think, yeah, we're not going to take the Warthog. We're going to stick with the Ghost. Because we have to get out of the Warthog to jump on the gun. And that is somewhat the annoying thing about the Ghost there, is that the little wings on the sides always catch on terrain and things like that. Torque you around annoyingly. Have a rocket. You too. We're gonna run over here and grab ourselves another Banshee. Ooh, he's shooting at me. Alright, well we can use this Banshee to get to the very top of this tower that we could not get up to in Assault on the Control Room. And this is basically what's at the very top. It's just a flat landing platform or something. I guess presumably there would be an elevator or something in there, but we don't see it and we don't have access to it. But the Covenant seem to have gotten a bunch of shade turrets up there, and banshees and other infantry. And that grunt had a fuel rod gun. There we go, grab one of these. Grab one of them there plasma pistols. Because I knew we would have some sentinels in here. Have a grenade. Okay, off to number 3. The tunnels below. Grab our rocket launcher again.
I've located the Pillar of Autumn. She put down 1,200 kilometers upspin. Energy readings show her fusion reactors are still powered up. The systems on the Pillar of Autumn have fail-safes even I can't override without authorization from the captain. We'll need to find him, or his neural implants, to start the fusion core detonation. That tunnel leads to the next section of canyon. The final pulse generator we need to destroy is through there.
Okay, I'm going. I just wanted to get a fresh banshee, alright? And we gotta be careful, there's some rocket flood down here. Ooh, yep, like that. Luckily, they're terrible shots. If we were playing on Legendary, then they would have blasted us right out of the sky. Open. Thank you. I have no idea where Chief is keeping these tubes of rockets with him. In his hammer space, no doubt. Oh, I guess we can't close that door behind us. Alright, final run. And back to my favorite piece of music, Under Cover of Night. Destroy phase pulse generator number 2. We will do that. First we're going to take care of these flood over here. might need to take care of this Banshee. Here it comes. What, did it hit the tree or something? Stop shooting at me, shoot the flood instead. Let us grab more ammos here's. Oh, some guys with rockets there, huh? Alright, one more area to get through here. Normally I'd let the Flood and Covenant just fight it out here, but that actually takes quite some time. Maybe that rocket flood will do me a favor and kill some of the tanks for me. I kind of doubt it though. No. The darn rocket pushed him out of the way of my second rocket. Excuse me, I'm trying to shoot some tanks here. Ooh, he's an invisible one. Not anymore. Your cloak cannot save you. Cloak of invisibility there. It may have helped Harry Potter, but it won't help you. Finally, got them all. Alright. Let's jump in one of these banshees here, and we're gonna go get the one skull for this mission. Alright, first let's head up here to the platform where the phase pulse generator is and take out these sentinels right here. Alright, if we fly back here to the very top of this tunnel, back where the Wraith was during assault on the control room, although the Wraith is not there anymore for whatever reason, we can land right here. And the skull is right here. This is the Piñata skull. It means when you melee enemies, they will drop grenades. Okay, on to the last phase pulse generator. Seriously, that just happened? Yeah, I just... the Banshee slid and crushed me against that wall there. Alright, well, we'll do it again, I guess. And I hit that wall too. Oh, what the heck? There's nothing there! What am I hitting? Alright, well... Oh, there's one right there. And there's another one. Let me see if the skull is there again. Since we've already collected it, I don't think it's there, but... let me double check. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, well... we got the skull. Let's just get the last phase pulse generator without smashing ourselves. Pancaking ourselves with a Banshee. Set her down nice and easy. There we go, and don't fall off the edge. Now we just got this last group of shielded sentinels to deal with. Which is why I kept my plasma rifle.
Final target neutralized. Let's get out of here.
Let's find a ride and get to the captain.
No, that'll take too long.
You have a better idea?
There's a teleportation grid that runs throughout Halo. That's how the monitor moves about so quickly. I learned how to tap into the grid when I was in the control center. Unfortunately, each jump requires a rather consequential expenditure of energy.
Something tells me I'm not gonna like this.
But I'm pretty sure I can pull it from your suit without permanently damaging your shields. Needless to say, I think we should only try this once.